Hello and welcome to another episode of the To Baldly Go podcast, and thank you for joining me on my mission to explore strange new worlds, to seek out new life and new civilizations, to baldly go where so many have gone before. My name is Aaron, and I am watching Star Trek for the first time from the beginning. Joining me this week is my old friend and our resident Trekkie, Nate. Join us now as we discuss the next 3 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation: Suddenly Human, Remember Me, and Legacy. Make it so. Let's talk about some Star Trek. So, our first episode this week on a mission to an alien training mission. Like I said, I don't think IMDb did a great job writing these ones.
No.
Um, they they discover who the Enterprise discovers that one of the trainees appears to be human in season 4, episode 4, Suddenly Human.
All right.
For most of this episode, I wanted to think that it was just a really dumb episode.
Okay.
Like the entire episode, I was just like, this is kind of dumb, but I generally enjoyed it. I'll give this one a 7. I thought it was right around fine or good. It was better than okay. Definitely wasn't a mediocre episode, but it wasn't great. Um, but it was good. And there was Futuristic Enterprise Racquetball, which I was
And how can you go
immediately
wrong?
just like, this is amazing. I want to play that.
So what we need to do is figure out how to do that and go into business so that we can displace pickleball
Yeah,
as the new racket-based sport that takes over the world.
yeah.
Great mug, by the way.
Oh yeah. I I don't often buy souvenirs when we go to Universal because I hate spending money on stupid kitschy shit.
Yep.
But I saw this and I was like, my St. Augustine Alligator Farm mug had a crack or a chip in it. So I was like, it's time for me to get a new mug. I drink from it all day, every day.
Yeah.
And I wanted this and it was like 19 bucks.
Why not? You will get your money's worth out of that
Oh,
because you'll use it for years and years and years.
this
And then,
side,
yes.
and it's glow in the dark. Not that I
You-
ever have it in the dark.
but you never know. Power might go out and you want to reach for
Right.
your
And
cup.
I want to see a glow in the dark T-Rex, as you
Absolutely.
do.
Yeah.
So,
So,
yeah, futuristic Enterprise racquetball. I thought that looked awesome. Uh, I thought there were a bunch of good scenes throughout the episode. Like, you got, again, Picard having to deal with kids, even though he doesn't want to. Kind of like Dr. Alan Grant in Jurassic Park, as we were discussing my mug. Um, Troy explaining things to Picard was hilarious.
yeah.
I thought that interaction was really good. Um, when Picard said, "You're probably not aware of this, but I'm not particularly comfortable around children," and Troy just said, "Really?"
Sarcastic Troy is the best Troy. Uh,
Awesome.
just hands it right back to him. I was
Yep.
like, yeah, I haven't witnessed this at all in any previous episode.
And
Like,
then her other one, seldom have I heard an explanation so well rehearsed. She didn't have a huge part in this episode, but the part that she had was awesome.
yeah, it was good.
Um, and then Data not understanding slapstick humor was kind of funny too. Um, yeah. Overall, I liked the episode. It was an enjoyable episode. It was fine. So yeah, I gave it a 7.
Okay. My first note that I wrote down on this episode as it was starting it, and I re was realizing what episode it was because I couldn't remember based on the title. And I don't know if I love the title. Like I kind of get it, but I don't know if I love it. But
So
that's
it's like they're trying to be cute with the title.
yeah.
Like they're
Uh,
trying to be too clever with it.
yeah, and it just I think it fell kind of flat.
Yeah.
Um, but my first note that I wrote down was verbatim, I think I hate this episode. Uh, now
Fair.
I think that's an overstatement. I think that was my knee-jerk emotional reaction to realizing what episode is on and thinking about like, if I wasn't watching these sequentially or if I was, back in the day channel flipping and I happened to come across Star Trek and it was on and it was this episode,
You'd
I
probably
probably would
keep
have gone
moving.
meh and kept going.
Yeah.
Um, and so to sit and watch it again, yeah, it's an okay episode.
Okay.
I don't think it's great. I guess it's fine. I gave it a 6, so not
That's
that
fair.
far off from you. Yeah, there are those little moments that are really good. Um, I always look at these and I think about, a lot of times they set up that ethical dilemma, and
Hmm.
and this one is no different than that.
Hmm.
And I don't. It's another one where they kind of explore it and maybe go more in depth than they do in a lot of them, but they still don't really like dig deep into it. And I think I always just
Right.
I want them to go there. Like I
Yeah.
want to explore like the stuff that happens in the first third of the episode that's unrelated to that. I don't care.
Hmm.
Like shorten that to the cold open basically, and then explore all this stuff afterwards of the
Yeah.
dynamic between Picard and Jono's father, and having him wrestle between the fact that he's human but he's been raised by Talarians, and
Yeah.
like really dig deep into that. And they never do it. I shouldn't say never. They don't often do it. And this is
Yeah.
one where they didn't really do it here. And I also don't know that I agree with the ending. I I get it. Like again, go back to the people who raised you, but they literally kidnapped him.
Yeah. It's
So
yeah. I thought it was an interesting discussion. Again, I feel like this one, the limitations on that discussion come from the requirements of network TV
for
in the
sure.
early 90s. So you only have so much time in each act to get your story across and have it coherent, but also we get to watch it without commercial breaks. So they've got to take that 4 minute commercial break and be able to come back in the story and not have to re-explain everything. So I think a lot of that, where I can see exactly where you're coming from, I think that comes as a result of just the nature of the medium at that time and a limitation of it where it's tough to have that kind of in-depth conversation with any substance when you're going to get cut off every 10 minutes or
Yeah.
less.
And
So I think
I agree.
that's a fair point, though I also agree with you. They could have cut out the stuff at the beginning and had more of that. Um,
And I know that's probably why it is the way it is. Like I will wholeheartedly concur with that statement, but then I will go back to the fact that we have seen them do this well in a network TV
that's true.
format. And we've seen it recently because I think they did a great job of that in Family. That's an episode where they did dig a little deeper and they took an entire episode to kind of do
That's
that
true.
and set it up. And I mean, I rated that as a 9. Like
Yeah.
it's a phenomenal episode.
Yeah.
So maybe it's nitpicky. I don't know. I just
I don't think you're wrong. I didn't have as strong of a negative opinion on that. But I'm not going to say you're wrong because I can absolutely see that. Um, I was intrigued by the discussion they were having and how you do handle a situation like that. And then thinking
interesting
through it,
start.
Like
Like it
those
really is.
scenarios are literally they are just all throughout history. I
Hmm.
mean, you've got the example. I thought of Dances with Wolves. Granted, that was a voluntary decision to go basically turn your back on the society that where you were or that you're from, and then go and then uh, or say the Jungle Book with Mowgli being raised, or the kids have been watching, or specifically Danny has been watching Prince of Egypt a lot lately. So I mean,
Yeah.
even the story of Moses
Yeah.
and him being raised. But again, all of these where they're different, except for I guess Jungle Book, but Dance with Wolves, Prince of Egypt, those are all adults then making these decisions.
Yes.
And it made one of my notes here was when Jono, or I think they were calling him Jeremiah at the time, said, "I will make the Binar. I don't know
Hmm.
what it was, and I haven't looked it up in the transcript, but I will make the Binar the morning until I am back with my brothers," and just went on to make this dial tone sound. And my
Yeah.
follow up to that was, "Damn, kids can be annoying."
Yeah. My
And
note
it's
on
just
that
like,
was they can
so
stop that noise right now.
yeah. So he's going and doing that as like his form of protest. And it's just like, so you're gonna let this kid make real impactful decisions.
Hmm.
Probably don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So now I again I thought it was interesting and intriguing that they did try to address it, even if they didn't address it fantastically. I also, along with you, rated Family higher than this one, where they were able to tackle a lot of those things. Um, but yeah, I my final note that I wrote was just watching the episode. I almost didn't want to like it, but I found it just enjoyable enough.
Yep.
And it was another just solid episode. Nothing particularly strong in the episode except for Racquetball. Um, but it was I was also interested in kind of the foil that the Talarian Society played to the Federation.
Hmm.
Because you've got the Talarian guy saying he's my son, even if he's his kidnapped son, he's still just like he's my son,
It's
and
my
I
right
will.
under my society to
Yep, it's
keep
my
this
right under
guy.
my society, and you're in our area, or you came into our area and took him, and basically saying he's willing to fight to the death for this.
Yep.
And you juxtapose that with the way they were going to let those folks execute Wesley in justice.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, how, what's really going on here?
Yeah.
Because on one side, you were willing to respect a society's beliefs so much that you were going to let them kill one of your crew.
Yeah.
Unless I'm misremembering that episode, I think
Nope.
that's kind of how that was going.
That
Like,
played out for the
you
vast
fucked
majority of
up
it. Yep.
and you got to deal with it. And of course, they were going to try to work their way out of it. But here, they're just like, no, you kidnapped him. We're going to take him. And he's just like, hey, this is my society and our customs and culture. So it was, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. And then just comparing that Talarian response where they were just like, I will kill every single one of you
Yeah.
if I don't get him back.
Yep.
And if I don't, it will be because you have killed me in the process.
Yeah.
And it's like,
No
that's,
consistency.
yeah. But then the Federation being able to just, uh, yeah, that was kind of, I thought that was noteworthy.
I hadn't even thought about that, but yes. Um, it is an interesting comparison.
Yeah. And
Now,
then
granted, the show's gotten a lot stronger over the course of 4 seasons, and Justice was fairly early in the
it was
first.
like the seventh episode of season one, I think.
Yep.
Um,
So there, something to be said for that. However,
yeah.
mhm.
Yeah, it was just yeah, that was I just found it a very interesting comparison to make. in how those were. And maybe that's a way of showing, hey, you know what? Sometimes Picard and crew, sometimes they get it wrong.
Yep.
Um, and yeah, I'm not sure if they should have sent Jono back uh, at the end. At the same time, it's like he's 14, and
He doesn't get to
you
make this.
shouldn't let them make any decisions.
And I mean, look, it's clearly a different culture. I don't know that
Yes.
it's necessarily a bad culture. I mean, I know that, early on they thought that he'd been, tortured or abused, and, that was kind of played off as like, yeah, I mean, he's a kid and he gets into stuff. And so I think we can assume that there wasn't necessarily abuse happening. Otherwise, it probably would have played out differently.
Yeah.
Um, but it's I don't think it has anything to do with the Talarians themselves so much
Yeah.
as beyond the fact that they kidnapped him.
Yeah.
Like I think that
It's
that's the only data point that really matters in all of this.
it's not a perfect analogy because none ever are, but I think it would be like in ancient Greece if the Spartans had kidnapped an Athenian child and
Yeah.
raised him as a Spartan. I
Hmm.
mean, they beat the shit out of them. So,
Yep.
but that was to train them and raise them and make them tough, which
Yeah.
was kind of how this was, as opposed to the Athenian Federation, basically. That's a lot more like, hey,
Hmm.
we're gonna excuse me. Yeah, just a lot different than say the Federation or in ancient Greece, the Athenians would have probably handled it. And it's then an interesting thought of what may appear as abuse or something to me may not actually be. And there
Yeah.
are societal differences where some of those things matter. And it's just like it may look or seem like it from the outside, but it is toughening and training. I mean,
Yeah.
you look at any high school football team, and that could be
I,
constituted as abuse,
I think
what
intent
they put them
matters.
through. What was that?
I think intent matters.
Yes, absolutely.
If you're beating the shit out of somebody to beat the shit out of them,
That's abuse.
that's abuse. If you happen to break some bones and get knocked around a little bit because you play football or rugby or whatever, that is an abuse. That's the
Right.
hazard of the sport,
Right.
right?
But then you don't actually know because they're presenting this as it's possibly Stockholm syndrome. And
Yep.
honestly, I don't think
They never ruled
they
that.
never made a definite uh commentary on that. They said it
Yes.
might be this, but
But
you
then
don't
just
really
don't
know
know
if
it.
it was.
Well,
And
and put yourself into Jonah's shoes for a second.
yeah.
You're 14. So you're incredibly emotionally immature in like
Hmm.
every way, right?
Yep.
You've only ever known the Talarians as family because you were taken when
Hmm.
you were effectively a newborn infant, somewhere before you had
Any
memory.
recognition or object permanence.
And then you say, all right, what do you want to do? Do you want to leave with us and go, live with your grandmother or extended family that you've never met before
Hmm.
beyond talking to them, for a few minutes across subspace? Or do you want to go back to your father that you've known your entire life? What are you going to pick 100% of the time?
You're probably going to pick what you know,
Yeah,
unless it's really, really bad.
yeah. But he never indicated that it was really, really bad from
No,
his perspective, his outlook on the world. Whether it was bad or not, that was his upbringing.
even though he said things that may very much seem like, oh, that is somebody who has been brainwashed.
Yes.
Like when he was
But
discussing pain and all of that. It was, again, just, I
but
found
he
it a
tried to,
compelling episode, even if not perfect.
yeah. But I guess that's my challenge with their decision to give him a decision
Yeah.
because that's the outcome I would expect.
If you
Near
If you
100% of the time.
Yeah. If you think it's abuse, you don't give him the decision. And if
Yep.
you don't try to make it seem like it is.
Yeah.
Now,
So,
granted, that was also early in the episode where they had to figure out what the hell is going on with this kid.
right.
But yeah, it's it's again, I thought it was I thought it was just a lot of interesting comments or notes where it could have easily been an 8 or a 9, why I think I give it a 7. And even then, I struggled to call it good,
Mhm.
but I've generally given a fine episode a 7 along with good because I consider fine a bit better than okay. And not giving fractional points. That's why I think I fell on the 7 because I really did think it's basically a fine episode. Um, but I did find one little line I thought was really fascinating in this one when Worf just says, "Is it worth it to go to war over a child?"
And
And
then
again,
Crusher
that
response is perfect, by the way.
that yeah. Oh, what was that?
Crusher's
Oh
response to
yeah,
that is perfect.
I didn't remember her response because I was
Yeah.
busy writing down what Worf said.
She immediately shoots back with, "You might not ask that if it was your child."
Yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, I just thought that was interesting, and that's
Well,
something that would be very unpopular to ask. But at the same time, that's something that when you're
it's
in a
a fair
position like
question.
Picard, that is an absolutely fair question.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think we're a society that would say we'll sacrifice a child to avoid war,
No.
but at the same time, it's like
We generally don't
the
follow the needs of the many, right?
no, the
Generally not.
questions ought to be asked.
Yep.
Um, yeah. So I don't really have much else on this one. I thought it was like fairly formulaic and everything. Not shocking, but still a nice moment at the end when Jono took his gloves off.
Yeah.
Um, After his line earlier about keeping him on so he doesn't have to touch an alien, and made that contact with Picard.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, nice end to the episode. Um,
Maybe one
yeah,
of the best moments of the whole show of
yeah.
that or that episode.
I I wanted throughout, I kept feeling like I think my inner monologue or my internal dialogue, because it was kind of going back and forth, was like, I want to feel like this is a really dumb episode. And I just kept being drawn back into it somehow. So,
There are certainly far dumber episodes, even in
yes,
Next Gen, that we've seen.
yes,
So yeah.
yeah. So that's about all I got on this one. I don't know if there's any good trivia on it
It's one
or
of
anything worthwhile.
the
I
lightest list of trivia I have ever seen, and I can pull three out that are semi-interesting.
I will say, even though I've rated plenty of episodes lower than this, I think this is an incredibly forgettable episode.
Yes.
Like, I could see seeing this one again in a few years and having a similar thought to you. Like, I think I thought this was
Yeah.
fine
And
or
not
okay.
remembering like what the ending was, because
Right.
that was my thing is I couldn't remember what happened to him at the end of the episode. I had no idea.
Yeah.
So, all right. So LaForge only appears for a very brief scene, which is actually stock footage.
Hmm.
So he's basically not in this episode. Prior to filming Best of Both Worlds Part 2, LeVar Burton had had surgery and couldn't make an appearance.
Interesting.
Yeah. Although aired as the season's fourth episode, it was filmed second.
Okay.
Let's see here. And then the dagger that Jono stabs Picard with is the one he received as Worf's Chadich in Sins of the Father,
Hmm.
which I'd forgotten about until I saw that because I remember not on this last watch through, but one of the last times I watched it, it's a very ornate, like it's got chains hanging
Yeah.
off and stuff like that. I'm like, isn't that Worf's dagger that he gives? Yeah, so that's literally the only trivia in here worth talking about.
Okay. Yeah. So we can move on to the next episode, where Dr. Crusher's fear of losing loved ones becomes real when her worries create an alternate reality. That's a little bit like not burying the lead.
No.
A bit. And I'm glad I didn't read any of that stuff before watching this episode. So I had no clue what was going on
Yep.
uh, as it was going. I was just like,
That
oh,
was going to
cool.
be one of
This
my
is going to
questions
be
is
a
when did you
mystery
figure it out?
episode. And I figured it out when you're supposed to figure it out.
Okay.
I had taken a note earlier on where I said, it's an interesting episode, not sure how it's going to resolve. And I said, I hope it's a satisfying ending, though, and not something like, well, Dr. Crusher's just a little bit sick, and this is just a fever dream. Because I would have been like, that's a stupid fucking episode. It was like, I always go back to my favorite example of that was when I watched the movie The Forgotten. And ironically, I remember almost nothing about that movie other
Yeah.
than that we have it or had it on DVD. I may have maybe one of the few DVDs I ever got rid of. Um, but I remember watching it and I think I even said out loud, if this is aliens, this is so dumb. And like 10 minutes later, it was like, oh, it's aliens. I was like, this movie fucking sucks. Um,
I've
so
never seen it, but now I'm
that's
not going to.
don't. That's how I felt about this one. I was just like, this has some good potential here. But if they just come in and they're just like, oh yeah, she just passed out and was having a bad dream, I was like, that's so stupid. And it didn't turn out that way. So I thought this episode was great. I gave it an 8. I thought it was really fun. It was interesting, captivated my attention the entire time. Where
Yep.
sometimes it's easy to get a little distracted or get pulled away by the computer or anything or my phone. This one, I was just like, what's going to happen? Like, where are these people going? It's
Yep.
like something is off. So what is it? And they gave out the clues and the hints and the development of it, which I
Well,
would imagine if I watch it again, I might see stuff earlier of how she got pulled into the warp bubble or whatever. But I hadn't seen that. So I'm just like, okay, now people are disappearing. And I don't think they're just fucking with her.
yep.
So, um, yeah,
Well, because what the first time when people start to disappear, it's folks that the rest of the crew haven't heard of. So it's
right.
like, oh, what's going on with Crusher? And then when it's people like Worf and nobody remembers who Worf is, then it's like something else is happening here,
Yeah.
right?
So yeah, I thought they picked an incredibly satisfying explanation for what was going on and then how to resolve it. Um, yeah, I just thought it was a really, really good, great episode. It was fun, good puzzle, good mystery they had to figure out. The stakes were high because she was running out of time. It was kind of imploding, and they had to try to figure it out. There were the callbacks to the Traveler
Mhm.
in that episode, and I loved that they
Oh,
were just like, remember when this happened where the Traveler showed up and then he shows up? It was I don't know, I just thought it was a really well executed episode and really enjoyable.
I really enjoyed it too. I gave it a 7. I didn't give it an 8, but it's still like it's clearly better than Suddenly Human, right? What
Oh
we
yeah.
just Um, and again, I've seen it a bajillion times, so I knew what was going on. But one of the things that I noted in this episode for the first time watching it is now that you know what happens, um, you know what happens almost immediately.
Yeah.
Because they basically show it,
Yeah.
but not really. So like there's the scene in engineering where Wesley's trying to finish up this experiment and Jordy's yelling at him and Crusher walks up and she's just standing there like, we'll talk when you're done. and then there's a flash of light, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And Wesley looks up and he goes, "Mom?" And then it cuts to her walking down the hallway. And it's like, holy crap, they basically showed it.
which
But then they
which
cut right to her to be like, oh, she just left. Right.
yep. And that's why I thought it was such a well executed episode,
Yeah.
because I can see going back and seeing all of those things and all the clues being there, but it was done so well that watching it the first time not knowing, I felt like I didn't figure anything out before I was supposed to.
And I think
Um,
if they had not cut directly to her at the end of that scene, you would have known what had happened.
yeah.
Like you would have connected those dots a whole lot faster, but they
Yep.
didn't even give you the time to think that that might be a thing.
Right, which
Like, oh, here she is.
which I
Like,
think is just masterful storytelling,
yep.
and just it was just excellent how they did that. I would be very interested to go back and revisit this one at some point. But yeah, I just it was really good. And then I liked once she started figuring out what was going on, I thought it was really interesting when she asked the computer, "What is the nature of the universe?"
Uh-huh.
It said a spheroid 750 meters in diameter or
Yep.
something like that. And it was just like, I liked how she was putting it together,
Hmm.
where she's also realizing like something's wrong, but then
Yeah.
having to go through all of that puzzling to figure out, oh, what's the common factor here? Me.
Yeah.
So what is,
Yeah.
and then just putting that together was really just good.
Yeah. I it's a good episode. Like, and I knew, like, even as it started, again, when you see them so many times, you get kind of gut feelings about episodes. Um, Especially the ones where maybe you don't see them as often. But then they show up. And as soon as this one happened, I was like, or, I knew what it was. I was like, oh, yeah, this is a good episode. I'm looking forward to
Yep.
this episode. And then it just kind of goes from there. It's a good mystery.
Yeah.
It's a different kind of whodunit in a lot of ways. Uh,
Right.
and I love the idea. I mean, when you bring the traveler into these stories, it's so interesting because even in the first episode that he was in, he was talking about that intersection between, you know, reality and imagination, right?
Hmm.
And how you have to harness both of them, and Wesley needs to do that. And here in this episode, it's the same thing. Like Wes and the traveler have to do that, but this was all started by a moment in time when Crusher was worried about something, and it created a whole universe where that thing that she was worried about is what was happening.
Hmm.
Based on basically some throwaway lines that she has with Quace of like,
Hmm.
how sad is it when the people that you care about most slowly start to disappear from your lives? And, so now she's thinking about Jack and she's thinking about all the people on the ship that she's close to. And this happens. And what happens? All the people that she's close to in her life start disappearing. It's
Hmm.
freaking brilliant.
Yeah.
Uh, I want to know who sits there and goes, this is what I'm gonna do. I just I sometimes can't comprehend that level of creativity.
Yeah.
Like to create something so nuanced. It's super cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It was, yeah, just really enjoyable. Um, I'm guessing I picked up on a bit of trivia in this one.
Yeah,
Um, the Millie Cochrans, is that something named after Mr. Zephram Cochrane?
you are correct. It's like many things in science, they oftentimes will name units of measurement after a scientist who discovered something related to it or that kind of thing. So in this case, yeah, Millie Cochran's is has to do with, work fields and things like that, and that would be Zephram Cochrane.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm trying to go again. I don't know that I have a whole lot else. I think it was really well acted by everyone involved.
Yep.
I think Gates McFadden did awesome.
Yeah.
Um, like building that snowball of worry and anxiety and confusion and then clarity,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Um, I did yeah, I thought she was good. The interaction, like when she started figuring it out and then trying to figure out, okay, how do I get out of here? How can I make this happen? I
mhm.
I just I just loved when she's like, my thoughts created this universe. Can they get me out of it again? That information is not available. The computer, and she was like, I'm
Yeah,
not talking to you.
yeah, stop
I
it.
thought that was great.
Yeah,
I love that moment again.
I
Um,
have those moments in my own house when I try and talk to one of or I'm not talking to one of our echoes or something like that, and
yeah,
or Siri or any of the others, and they're like, I don't know the answer to that. Well, that's great. I wasn't talking to you. So
right.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch that. Like, you shouldn't have. Shut up.
Yeah. I had very few notes on this one.
I did too.
Yeah, I just enjoyed it. Um, yeah. And just the idea of an interesting way of exploring the importance of appreciating people when they're still around.
Yep.
I
I
like
think it's a
I
very
like
good
that.
message.
Yes.
So, all right, are you ready for some trivia?
Sure.
Let's see here. All right. So Gates McFadden did all of her own stunts for the vortex effect sequences.
Nice.
Shortly after performing the stunt where she's thrown from Data's ops console chair, McFadden learned she was pregnant. Whoopsie-doo. Well, it doesn't say anything happened as a result, so I'm going to assume all was okay. But this story originated as a subplot for Family, in which crew members were to have disappeared due to a wormhole. However, it was felt there was not enough room for both plots. The premise was developed as a separate story. And thank God for that, because if they had combined of those into one episode, we would have gotten one crappy episode instead of two.
Right. Exactly.
Um, the actor who plays the Traveler originally auditioned for the role of Data.
Hmm.
See that?
I could not picture anyone else as Data.
Yeah, I agree, except for the fact that I think he's got a good look for it. So,
Yeah.
let's see. The model of the starbase was previously used in Star Trek 3, The Search for Spock. Um, do, 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 do. I didn't even notice this. Apparently, this is the first appearance of the redesigned transporter pad.
Hmm.
I didn't know it was redesigned. So, um, oh, interesting. The title Remember Me was the last line of the unused lyrics for the Star Trek theme song music composed by Alexander Courage, lyrics by Gene Roddenberry. So I don't remember if we've talked about this before, but the
We
original
have.
series has lyrics.
Yep. Hang on.
And they're dumb, but they're there.
Yeah, it's somewhere in the making of Star Trek. Yeah, beyond the rim of starlight, my love is wandering in starflight. I know he'll find in star-clustered reaches love, strange love a star woman teaches. I know his journey ends never, his Star Trek will go on forever. But tell him while he wanders his starry sea, remember, remember me.
There you go.
Yep.
Here.
Yeah, yeah, just great episode. I
Yep.
enjoyed it.
Trying to see.
Again, just uh, I know I seem to say it every single episode we talk about, but just a another solid entry to a series that has really hit its stride and is just consistently strong. Now,
Yep.
in this season so far, I've got ratings of 9, 8, 7, 7, and 8. So, I mean, that's all pretty strong ratings. But yeah, just consistently good stories, good acting, good everything in a way that has it's got a it feels like there is so much more depth
Yes.
to this series than the original series had. Now,
It's almost like you take away some of the camp. And I don't dislike camp. Like I think camp can be kind of fun. But when you take some of that away and you focus that energy elsewhere, you create stories that are more interesting.
yeah, and where again we see not to insinuate that the original series did not have depth, because I think a lot of our discussion and how I got hooked really was
Hmm.
that I did find a lot of depth in it and a lot more there than meets the eye, a lot under the surface. But on the whole, I feel that this series has done more. Now,
Yep.
granted, they have more to work with. They've got the history and the foundation that was built by the original series. But I just feel that where the original series started strong and really tapered off, fell off a cliff at the end. Uh, series has taken a different trajectory and is just getting
Yeah. Oh, it's
stronger. Even with episodes that aren't the strongest or the best episodes we've seen, they're still just solid,
yep. I agree.
which is a segue to our last episode, unless you have some more worthwhile trivia on that one.
No, it was again pretty light on that one too. So
Yeah. So, segue to the final episode we'll discuss this week. The crew of the Enterprise enters into orbit around the home planet of their former crewmate, Tasha Yar, where they encounter her sister in Legacy. I didn't care for this one.
I didn't care for this one either.
I I gave it a 6 because it's being lifted up by the episodes around it, I think, and just the general quality. It was okay. There were moments that were intriguing, but
I,
after she looked up and said it's working, I got distracted and did not pay attention to anything else in the episode.
I don't
To
think
the
you missed
point
anything.
to the point that I was like I think I was looking trying to look up our flight like our flight options, and just got distracted by that. And then all of a sudden the episode is over and I was like, "Oh shit, what did I miss?" And so I went back. I rewound it like 4 minutes to get back to that point. And then all of a sudden I was like, "Shit, I missed it again." So so I backed it up again. And then I was like, "I just don't care right now."
Yeah.
Um and so I did that like 2 or 3 times. So I don't know if I missed something. But after that, I was just kind of like, okay, she's kind of I must have just felt like, okay, she's turning on him. She doesn't want to do this. The
Yeah.
episode is over for me at that point. And when I look at the transcript, it looks like there wasn't much after that.
No.
Um, so yeah, it was there were good things, but the episode started much stronger than it ended. There's the intrigue of, okay, what is this planet that Tasha Yar was from, and all of that. Yeah,
I
I
think
found it. Yeah, just it was just okay. I could even go mediocre, but I feel bad giving a low rating to generally like okay episodes, and it's not like it was poorly directed, poorly acted. It was just kind of it didn't have steam for 45 minutes.
I mean, I went mediocre. I gave it a 5. I think it's interesting that I was exactly 1 point behind you in every
Every
episode.
single one.
Um, you know, you go into these episodes that you've watched a million times, as I say almost every week, and you kind of have this remembrance
Yep.
of, oh yeah, this is a great episode, or this is really good, or I didn't care for this one, or this is the worst episode ever. Code of Honor. Um, Cat
Yep.
Spa. Um, and I went into this one going, this isn't that bad of an episode. Like it's kind of cool. You get a little more Tasha backstory
Yeah.
thing, and I gotta tell you, um, the the cold open in the final scene of the episode are the only ones worth anything in this entire. I didn't like it. I thought it was
Yeah.
boring. I thought they did a piss poor job of establishing that there was any kind of threat at any point. Like there was no nuance to the plot. I was even sitting there going, "What's the B plot on this one?" There wasn't one, as far as I can tell.
Yeah.
It was just a very flat out like we got to rescue these two people, and Tasha Yar's sister is helping us, except for she's not. That's or she is, but ulterior motives. Um, it was dumb. It was I don't know. It is probably the worst episode I've seen in a while. And when I go back and look at ratings, the last 5 I gave was for the most toys, which is also a terrible episode.
I
So
gave that
I
one a
feel okay.
7. I gave Transfigurations a 5. And you've talked me down on this one. I'm giving this one a 5 as well.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
we're
it
real hard
was
on that too.
after well, in part, I think I was almost hedging in giving it a 6 because I was like, I must have missed something. I just got distracted by something that was
It's a
at the
bad,
forefront of my mind. But now it sounds like I really didn't miss much. There were a few good lines in the episode, but yeah, I did call out Riker with his string bet.
yeah.
Fucking amateur.
Uh, my
But
note on that is I don't think I've ever in my entire life played draw poker. Um, I I think I've only ever played Texas Hold'em.
hmm.
I don't even know how to play draw poker.
Draw
Like
is good. I don't think they even played it right. So
I
that kind
doubt
of
they did.
bothered
Maybe they're
the poker purist in me was kind of irritated with how they did run it. Because yeah, they
well
like
bet one.
well
One
well it was fine even that, but then it was like I'll take one card. Okay, fine. Now I fold. It was like that's not the order of operations here.
yeah.
You have a round of betting. If it's single draw, you have a round of betting and then you bet. You do all that. Then from the left of the dealer around, you get to declare how many cards you're going to take.
Hmm.
And you take those cards. Everybody does that.
Hmm.
And then you do another round of betting. So you don't have to bet, see what you get, and then still not know what the other person's going to do.
Right.
So I feel like a lot of times when you see a poker hand or something in a show, it's what people who don't know how to play poker think poker is,
For sure.
and that was evident there. Um, so that
I
that
didn't catch any of that because again, I don't know how to play draw poker. So
well, I mean, then there's also there's deuce to seven where you're trying to make the worst hand of two, three, four, five, seven.
yeah.
But then there's so that can be played no limit where it's a single draw, so you only take one card, or not one card, but you have one round of betting, one round of taking cards or not, because you can stand pat, or you and then one more round of betting, and then resolution. There's also triple draw, which is going to be a limit game, and that's where you have basically 3 rounds of limit betting, And in
Mhm.
between each round, you have the opportunity to take more cards if you're in. And taking the cards doesn't cost you anything because you've already done it
Right.
by going through the round or the betting round. Um, so
Well,
good,
I
good
already
Star
got my
Trek, good Star
yeah.
Trek pod here talking about Deuce to Seven triple draw.
Hey,
Um, but I'm going to talk about what I want. It's my show.
I learned more about that and got more entertainment about that explanation than I did the entirety of Legacy. So,
That's fair. And I did like Data getting all intense, where he was just like, "It will cost you 20 to make that determination, sir."
yeah, trying to
I
be a
thought that was
badass.
I thought that was good. He's trying to
Also,
be a badass, but he's got that visor on every time they're
yeah,
playing
that visor's
cards.
amazing. Are you kidding? I should bring that with me on the Vegas trip.
Hell yeah.
Nobody's gonna get it, and you're not going to, but it would be very funny. Um, oh, Scott might get it. Never mind. Scott will get it. Um, the other thing that I thought, I mean, it's super silly, but Riker plays the card trick at the end of that scene, which felt like a really long cold open. I don't know if you felt the same way, but it felt like that scene was really long.
It
Not
probably
complaining, but
did, but because they needed to have like something to fill because the episode wasn't
yeah, it's entirely
this
possible.
this was another one that I bet this episode could have been better if it was 8 minutes shorter.
Yeah,
If this was a 37-minute episode for a streaming service, they could have done it some better justice. Instead, they had to drag it out, and it
that's tough.
suffered for that.
But I'm gonna argue that Riker does this card trick with Data. Like I can I can guess your card and I can make you do it, right? And it's a pretty classic card trick. I like to watch
Yeah,
card trick YouTube videos because they're kind of fun.
me too.
To see how they do stuff. And Data's argument at the end of like, well, that you didn't win because this is how you did that trick. I don't care.
I thought that was
Like,
bullshit that Data tried to take all the money because, yeah,
yeah,
Riker did
he still
exactly what
did
he
it.
said.
Just just because he managed to get a thumb break in there while he was shuffling to force the card to the top of the deck and like know where it was. I don't care. Like
Right,
number one, that's really hard to do.
right.
I can't do that. Like, so I don't know. I thought that was nonsense on Data's part. Did Data believe for one instant that Riker was going to perform actual real magic? I doubt
Yeah.
it. Like, so
Yeah. No, I'm with you. That kind of took me out of it a little bit because there's just like, and Data would logically know, like, okay, he did a card trick.
yeah.
And he did exactly what he said. He was like, I'm gonna find your card. And he did. He maybe cheated, but it wasn't cheating because there were no parameters set up.
Yep. Yeah, I don't think you can even call
So
it cheating.
I think Riker did exactly what he said he was gonna do. And then for Data to just be like, nope, I'm taking all the money. It's like, yeah, that's
Just
kind of
to
bullshit.
continue to not make this part of the episode about Star Trek, I follow this guy on Instagram. His name is Jason Ledane. You ever seen him before?
Mm-mm.
He has to be one of the best like card trick magicians I've ever seen.
Hmm.
Like I have watched tons and tons of his videos and reels and stuff like that. And I think I can figure out about 5% of how he's doing these tricks.
Nice.
Maybe 5%.
Yeah.
Like I think he's doing this to get to this point, and then after that, I have no clue.
Yeah.
And he's kind of a cocky asshole, which honestly makes it that much more fun because he's
Mm-hmm.
just like, yeah. So people will comment on his post and say, I want you to do this. Like, wash the deck, shuffle 3 times, force the aces to the top of the deck. And he's like, okay. Or like shuffle the deck, and do a riffle shuffle 10 times, deal a 5 card poker hand with 4 players, but deal yourself a royal flush. And he he'll take a brand new deck and he'll shuffle it. He'll show that it's shuffled and all that, and he'll deal it out and he'll flip over his hand, royal flush.
Mm-hmm.
Like, He's
The
probably allowed in
control
any
people
casino
can
in
get
Vegas.
is
Unreal.
amazing.
It
Yeah.
is, I mean, it's a lifetime of practice.
Yeah.
Uh, the- but anyway, totally digress. It's just his videos are pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So anyway, um,
Yeah. Uh, so because yeah, this episode wasn't very good. We can talk about other stuff.
yeah,
Do you ever watch Fool Us videos on YouTube?
yeah, on occasion, Penn and
Yeah.
Teller.
Check out the one I think he's maybe been on twice, but if
Okay,
not, if he's only been on once, then it'll be easy to find. But if he's been on twice, the first time he was on Nestor Hato,
okay,
last name Hato, I think. He has
okay,
one of my favorite card tricks I've ever seen. I think I've seen how to do it, and it's like a doctored up deck,
okay,
like with some additions to it, but it is such a cool effect that he has in it. And when I saw like the unveiled or whatever video on it, I was like, okay, all of that makes sense, and you can see some of the things. One of the coolest tricks I've seen. And yeah, I
Do
sometimes
they
go
figure
down
it
that
out?
rabbit
Like, does
hole.
he fool them?
Yeah, not to spoil it, but I mean, it was from like years and years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, really, really cool trick. Um, really fun one. I recommend you go check that one out.
Okay, I'll have to look at that. I do like the clips of theirs I've seen. Um, then the other one I'll watch just because I think he's super approachable and he teaches a lot of stuff. Have you ever watched any of Brian Brushwood's stuff?
No.
So he's got a couple different channels on YouTube. One of them is called Scam Nation, which is honestly mostly just he used to have a TV show on I don't know, it's like Discovery or TLC or some one of the cable shows back in the day,
Hmm.
where he basically went to bars and taught people different card tricks to earn yourself, free beers and stuff. Like,
Hmm.
hey, if I do this, you're gonna buy me a drink, kind of thing.
Hmm.
And he's a little over the top, but it's pretty interesting. And then more recently, for a lot of years now, he's had a channel called Modern Rogue, where they do a bunch of stuff, but some of it is like magic related. They'll do different magic tricks and things like
Hmm.
that. And he's got some cool stuff in there that they've done. And he actually went on Fool Us. It was like because he's a professional magician by trade
Hmm.
and really wanted to do it. And they figured it out pretty quickly, but he's like, I don't care. Like all I've ever wanted to do is perform a magic trick for Penn and Teller.
Yeah.
Like my entire life. I don't care if you figured out how I did it or not. Like I just wanted to stand on this stage and perform for you guys.
Yeah.
They were both like, hey man, we've seen your stuff. We think you're really good. He's like, holy crap, like Penn and Teller think I'm good at what I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
It's kind of fun.
Are you going to go see them at the Renaissance Festival this year?
I don't, I should. I don't know if we
Because
will.
that's where they got their start. So they're
Yeah,
going back for their 50th anniversary
I'm trying
to
to remember I know at one point I'd seen the dates and they were going to be there. Um, it'd be kind of fun. I've never seen them live. I haven't seen them in
uh,
Vegas.
I've Abby and I saw them in Vegas, and then we went about a year later. They were at Mystic, and we went with Bean.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah,
We'll see.
they're really good live.
I bet they are. I'd love to see them live at some point. Maybe we'll go do that in Vegas. We were
Yeah.
were you on the text threads when we were talking about going to see the Eagles?
Yes.
Oh my God. Like, no, I would love to see the Eagles. I'm not going to pay that kind of money to see the Eagles.
Yeah.
No, thank you. So, even the trivia on this one sucks, by the way.
Checks out.
Um, here's the unfortunate thing. Um, as the 80th episode, this pushed the next gen beyond the 79 episodes of Star Trek: The Original Series, unless one counts the
I
unaired pilot, The Cage.
I did see that and knew we were coming up on it. Uh and I don't know if I would I think I'd count the cage because,
I
of
think
course,
I
I
count it.
messed up my viewing by watching that one first. Um, so yeah, I think
I think it
being
counts.
tied at where we are, and it's amazing to see. Like, I don't know if it's in part that I knew there was more and better to come,
Yeah.
but as we were wrapping up the original series, we approached it. I think we watched 7 episodes for the final podcast episode because we were just like, let's just get this shit over with.
Yep.
I mean, we watched almost 10% of the original series to wrap it up, to just be done with it.
The end of the third
And
season is so terrible.
it was. But here, it's still like we've said so many times, it feels like the show is on the rise. Where at 80 episodes, it was just like, okay, yeah, this has definitely run its course.
Yep.
That does not feel the case here. You feel like there are so many more stories to tell, and not just stuff that they can throw into a handful of movies down the road, but like plenty more stories to explore and all of that. And
Agreed.
clearly we're not even halfway through the series at this point. We're nearing halfway, but we're not there yet. So it's yeah. Uh, we were talking, we had some friends over, made pizzas tonight, and we were talking about how, oh yeah, I couldn't play a game tonight because I was recording the podcast and I really wanted to. So um
Mm.
and they were then asking like, okay, well, how does that work? What do you do? And talking about that and just saying how, yeah, starting with the original series was an experience, and now getting to where we are in next gen, it's also a different experience where it
Yep.
still feels like Star Trek. It still has that feel, still has those moments where it's like, oh yeah, this is the same universe as the original series, but it's also wholly its own, which is
Hmm.
really cool with what they've done with this series, especially after kind of a rocky start with some of the episodes that were
Yeah.
almost shot for shot trying to remake some of the stuff from the original series. Um, but yeah, it's
It's so unfortunate, right? I mean,
yeah, but
at least they managed to move past it, but
yeah.
ugh.
And I'm glad they were able to, and that they figured out how to make this something different. And I think it's big that you see these, even this episode had callbacks to Tasha Yar. I mean,
Hmm.
in the original series, with very few exceptions, there are no almost no characters that come back
Right.
because everything is just effectively a standalone episode. There's very little that impacts from one to another. And that is something that has been really cool in this series is that, I mean, every single one of these episodes had some kind of callback, I think. Maybe not Suddenly Human, but the other two definitely had callbacks to prior characters. I mean, Tasha died when? End of season one? Late season one? She didn't
Yeah.
even finish the
She
first
didn't finish
season.
season one. It was like episode 18 or something. Of course, I just
Yeah.
closed my notes for my episode listing. When was Skin of Evil? Skin of Evil was 22 of 25.
Okay. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm still just really enjoying it, even coming off of the lowest episode of this season and one of the probably one of the weaker episodes in recent seasons that we've watched. Let's see, I'm looking back at season 3 and I had I had 3 rated a 5 in season 3. I had a couple 4s in season 2. Um, but
Yeah, but in general,
yeah,
it's a much better
yeah.
show, right?
Yep. Yeah, it's really good. I'm still loving it. So, next time we'll be looking at Reunion, Future Imperfect, and Final Mission for the next 3. Um yeah, still loving it. So,
Yeah, should be good.
but yeah, I guess we can call this one a little short this time, which is
May as well. Which is funny
Fine.
because neither one of us has to work tomorrow, and it'd be the one night where if we went late, it wouldn't be that big of a deal.
That's
But
in that regard, it's too bad. Like it's interesting how some of these episodes go where like Suddenly Human had some interesting stuff to discuss, and I think we probably talked the most about that one, even though it was the middle episode for both of us.
yeah,
Remember Me, really enjoyed, but don't really have much to say. Like, yeah, it was cool. It was
yeah,
well done. And
beat
then
it to that.
Legacy, we talked about draw poker and card tricks. So, I mean, that's about what
Well,
that episode is good for.
now I'm probably gonna go watch card tricks on YouTube because that sounds like a good way to spend the rest of my evening.
Well, there you go. I don't have a whole lot to add this time beyond seriously, check out that Nestor Hotto trick from Fool Us. I put a link in the description. If you're watching along with us, join us next week as we watch the next 3 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation: Reunion, Future Imperfect, and Final Mission. If you enjoyed the episode, please consider subscribing and leaving us a review. You can find us on X at Baldly Go Podcast, to Baldly Go Podcast on Facebook. Visit tobaldlygopodcast.com for episode posts and aaronemery.net for more from me. Also, check out our sister show, The InLap, for F1 race weekend recaps and discussion. For Nate, this is Aaron reminding you to never give up, never surrender.
I think I hate this episode.